I live in an abandoned hospital. Apparently there's a morgue, but I haven't seen it. It was a hospital up until about 5 years ago.
How many people live in this building?
Between 150 and 160. So I don't pay any bills here. The downside is you could be given 28 days notice at any time. It's quite an innovative way to get around the housing crisis.
The cost of rent keeps rising while wages have stagnated, and nowhere is more unaffordable for private renters than London. Box-sized rooms, mouldy flats, and sharing space with strangers well into your 30s has become the norm. All the while, you're spending over a third of your income for the pleasure and wiping out any chance you've got of saving for a deposit. Is it any wonder then that half of people under 24 say they plan to leave the city within the next 10 years? But across my TikTok, I've seen that some young Londoners have found a way to stay in the city without breaking the bank. They're property guardians, paying to live in empty or disused properties, including hospitals, care homes, and police stations. Guardianship websites advertise this arrangement as an affordable solution to the housing crisis. And now there's an estimated 60,000 property guardians living in the UK.
My name is Szofia Rozsa and I live in an abandoned hospital. I'm a musician and I play the harp and I sing. This is my bedroom. I did used to have a room on the floor above, which was larynx and pharynx floor.
This is a huge room. We're in Zone 1 in central London. How much are you paying for it?
£400 a month. I know, it's so crazy.
Is that bills and everything you do?
So I don't pay any bills here. You pay a one-off £40 fee for Wi-Fi when you move in. So guardianships are about buildings that are in situ, like they are buildings in transition, essentially. So often they are quirky buildings like hospitals, schools, fire stations. The downside is you could be given 28 days notice at any time. But I've just been here for 4 years, so you don't know. And I guess it is like a good answer to like the housing crisis because you get cheap rent, you get lots of space. Want to do kitchen?
This is really cute.
Thank you. Do you want coffee? Apparently there's a morgue, but I haven't seen it.
There's a morgue?
Yeah, because there's a guy who used to live here and he was like, oh, there actually is a morgue, but I'm not going to show you it because it's going to creep you out. I'm not a tenant, I'm a licensee and a guardian of a space, which is like the fundamental legal difference. So if I wanted to leave for a prolonged period of time, I probably have to seek their permission. In this building, it wouldn't be hard to get permission because it's so lived in, as there's so many people here that it is pretty safe. A couple of people that live on this floor are about to move into their a new guardianship together just as a couple, like a one-bed flat. I'm sure if they wanted to go away for August, it would be a lot harder.
Does having the security camera in the kitchen help you feel safer here?
It's a weird feeling to know that when you're just chilling in here on your own and you're making your breakfast or whatever, that someone could be monitoring you somewhere. I don't love that.
What reaction do you usually get to telling people that you live in a decommissioned hospital?
I think when I explain it, people come around to the idea. It's usually better if people see it because otherwise it sounds a bit insane.
What was your renting situation like before you became a property guardian?
I was paying like £700 for a really tiny box room. I did feel a little bit stuck, like I couldn't get out of my contract because it was a 12-month contract. I'm in my 20s and I've been able to be here for the last 4 years, so I've invested a huge amount of time that I was afforded by low rent into my craft, and now it's starting to pick up. I think if I hadn't had that opportunity, I might have had to move home, which wouldn't have really been an option for me. Or I would have had to do full-time work in something that was going to pay the bills, but that's maybe not my love. I mean, I feel like I'm nailing London because every year I've paid £100 less rent every single year that I've been here. So this would have been a waiting room. In fact, you can see there's an area just over there where you can see a million marks on the floor. That's from those chairs they would have had. I put on a gig around here and built like a stage and built this cloud thing and had audience all here. So I think this was a crash because it's a waiting room and this is like squidgy, so I'm presuming this was a crash, but I don't know.
That makes sense. And then obviously that was the reception area.
This is where we put like stuff that anyone can have. So there's often clothes here or sometimes Pret.
Okay. So this is your studio?
This is my studio. It's a little bit messy. I feel super lucky with it because it is soundproofed. They would have tested people's hearing in there. I mean, that's so perfect for musicians. I think that's why there's quite a few musicians here because cheap soundproof space is just like absolutely ideal. And like trying to do it yourself, even to do it semi-okay, can cost like £10,000. People will have to travel like 45 minutes or an hour to their studio, pay several £100s, only get access to it maybe one day a week. Whereas, yeah, I've got complete access to this room, just myself, for £100. So I feel so lucky for that. When I put on a gig here, I invited some promoters and I just didn't let them know it wasn't a venue.
Really?
So they just turned up and went, it seems that some people live here. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, this is not a venue. I did make it look like that on the poster. I think people understand, and generally when they see it, they think it's quite an innovative like way to get around the housing crisis.
Remember before God with gratitude the benefactors of this hospital. I guess some people might think this is quite a creepy place to live, especially if you're walking through the corridors at night. Do you ever feel that?
Yeah, not so much on this floor, but in the basement, yeah.
So you use these basements in a music video. How did you use them for your video?
Well, they just look so creepy that I was like, it would be good to film down here. And it's supposed to have a maze-like feel, and like I'm like lost in this maze space. So yeah, I brought a film crew down and it came out pretty good actually. Someone's also filmed a horror down here as well.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was a short, but someone's filmed, I know that there's been a few times that people have just like used it for being a bit of a weird space.
So they made a horror film in the abandoned hospital basements.
Yeah. I mean, it's perfect, right?
I can see that. And you were saying that the videographer you used is actually just another creative that lives in the building.
Yeah, so a lot of the people I work with, I have met here. So the guy who I film with most, he lives here. And then I used a few other people as actors from here. It's kind of great because I think often if I like need to borrow something or I need to use someone's skills, I can find that within just this building. This place will get bulldozed. Mm-hmm. It's going to become luxury hotels at some point, but that was supposed to happen in 2020, and then it was 2021, and we're in 2025, so like who knows when it's going to happen. The only thing that's staying is the tree.
It's crazy that it's going from somewhere that you're paying about £400 in rent, and then it's going to become luxury flats, which I guess are going to go for thousands in rent each month.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a mixture of flats and hotels, and yeah, it will be super expensive. So this will be the last time this space will be lived in by people like this.
Property guardianship is working for some people, like Szofia, as an alternative to privately renting. But in actuality, it might just be an imperfect solution to an imperfect housing market.